Shelley always gives me a look when it's time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thanks, everyone, and welcome to a regular meeting of the Goldendale City Council, December 16th. Shelley, would you please take roll call?
Theon Wheeler. Absent. Pete Johnston.
Here.
Lauren Meeker.
Absent.
Ellie Casey.
Here.
Andy Holm.
Here.
Danielle Covenant.
Here.
And Mylan Wallen.
Here. Thanks. Is there a motion to excuse Theon Wheeler and Lauren Megger?
Did they call or anything? Is there?
Yes, they both texted me, Theon, that she wasn't feeling well, and Lauren that he had a prior commitment.
I move that we excuse the two council members.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks, everyone. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. The closed public comment. Is there anybody here or on the line that would like to make a public comment on issues regarding our agenda today? Anybody online have their hand up? No? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda and the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda and the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll move on to the next item is department reports. And let's start over here with Fire Chief Noah Holm.
Thanks, Mayor. So we did have a pretty good structure fire on the 8th, 200 block of East Main. It was at 1:05 in the morning. House was basically fully involved. We got there. Quick knockdown of the fire. However, it was pretty close to losing two other houses, of how hot the building had got. Our first engine, from the time of Page to the time of arrival, they were there 7 minutes and 38 seconds.
Awesome.
So 1 o'clock in the morning, it's a pretty good
Yeah.
response.
Great job.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just wanted to let you guys know, we received a FEMA grant, earlier on, this year for a gear dryer and a washer extractor. So we'll be purchasing, the gear dryer for $13,072. And that's through the Sourcewell contract. And then sole source for a Unimac, washer extractor for $16,583. So that'll be coming in right next year, but. I'll let you know.
And that would be used for washing your turnouts.
Yeah, washing the turnouts, and then obviously drying the turnouts. So, obviously we use water, so everybody gets wet. So to have a dryer that's the reason why I went for it actually is to get a dryer.
Oh, okay. Well, I know it takes a certain wash machine to
Yeah.
wash,
Yeah.
because you also got contaminated material.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And NFPA, I heard all about it. I don't even know all the NFPA specs on it, but all the NFPA certifications are on there.
Yeah.
And like the dryer, we just let them hang dry right now and it can take days to dry.
Yeah,
Just take 90 minutes to dry a full set of gear. So
right. No, that's
That's
nice. Now, especially in the winter time, you've got a wet coat and a couple hours later, you gotta go out again. That's not
It is very
very,
nice to be there. to-
right.
so.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, chief. Police chief, Mike Smith.
Hey, Mayor. Still just truck along, trying to finish off the year good. Had a good parade that came out. Everything went smooth, which was good to hear. We are en route to place an order for a new patrol car. The total cost of the base of the car is $45,766 with a sales tax at $3,844.34. So it'll be $49,610.34 for a 2025 Ford Explorer Interceptor. So that'll replace our 2017 vehicle. The 2017 is still optional, so we're gonna save for this spare car. We offlined our other spare car we had that we gave to the animal control for a while. It has problems, so it'll probably go to auction as soon as we auction off some other cars, so. Hopefully we'll order it now. They said it's probably a month out through Ford, so we'll probably look at it by April. Hopefully we'll have it back, so.
Great. Thank you, chief. City administrator, Sandy Wells.
So we had a meeting today with the Mid-Columbia Economic Development about the sidewalk grants and things that we've kind of looked at. She gave us a few, some of them were already too late to apply for. There was one that, the lady that's kind of in charge of this particular grant, she's gonna look for us. It has to do with, schools. So if you're within 2 miles of a school district, they can do some sidewalk grants for those if we can show that the sidewalks in disrepair around schools. And that one was already closed, but she was gonna see, they usually run them, she thought every year, or every other year. So she's gonna check on that one. And then she gave us a couple contacts of, one's TIB, which we already knew about. And then the other one is a gentleman that we were already gonna have a meeting with about the hospital project. So he also has some to do with sidewalk grants. So we were gonna kind of talk to him and see if we can find some more about some of the sidewalk grants that we can possibly apply for downtown, or even just some of the other ones that are in a little bit of disrepair. So, and I know TIB has, I guess you can get sidewalk grants with them as well. We already did our grants for them for next year, but I'm gonna still reach out to them and see what they do for sidewalks themselves, if it's not attached to a street. So,
Yeah.
so we're looking at that, and then we've got DOT tomorrow on the Broadway parking. We have that meeting tomorrow, so.
Yeah, that's a Public Works Committee meeting tomorrow for those on the Public Works, 2:30. Yeah,
Yeah, 2:30, so Gary will actually be here in person, the guy from DOT. I think he was gonna have his engineer maybe come down too, or
I think they're gonna.
one of their
on a
traffic
Zoom.
safety committee people.
Oh, okay, yeah,
He talked about that, or having them on Zoom, but
yeah,
I think he's wanting to go out to the site and actually look at what our issues are. And like we've talked about too, they don't necessarily tell us whether or not we can have parking or no parking, but to give their recommendation of things that they might have an opinion on. They would like to do that as well. So he wanted to come down and really look at and see what we were talking about. And
Yeah.
kind of get a better idea of why we don't want either no parking or hourly parking, or what we're really looking at, and kind of break it down a little bit further than just our few conversations. So we'll look forward to hearing from him tomorrow.
Yeah.
great. Oh, thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Okay. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda under council business. This is the consultant agreement for the Darlin Street reconstruction. And I'll invite Nathan from Pioneer Surveying up if anybody had any questions about this.
So there's 2 resolutions that are kind of putting the consultant agreement before the resolution for the actual project, but that's the way they go on our agenda.
Okay, right. Right.
Did you guys need to know more about the projects
How
from
much is-
Nathan, or
How much is like the total amount of the whole project?
for the Darling Street?
Well, like for this, like the contract with him is at basically $200,000. Like,
Yeah.
how much is the whole projects all together that this,
It is. in our resolution package.
I didn't
That's
see it,
under the
but I could have
resolution
missed it.
part.
Maybe I missed it.
For Darland, it's $963,753.
Okay, and but there's more link to this, or is that just for that project?
That's just for the Darland Street. That's just for the upgraded street sidewalks and stormwater on Darland from Mill to Railroad,
Okay,
because it'll be in phases.
okay. And
Mill to Railroad,
I couldn't find it, but the other question I had are the curbs and stuff. Are those gonna be the rounded curbs or those gonna be square curbs?
Typically we do the rounded curves.
Okay,
Just because it makes it easier for not having to figure out where driveways go and stuff.
Okay.
It typically does a better, residential area.
okay. My only concern with that is we've had discussions that in the past of it's more expensive. And so I'm concerned with doing the round curbs. But that's just my major concern with that. Especially in a residential area where their driveways are already there. I don't think we need to have rounded curbs. That's just my opinion.
Is one of the other advantages, correct me if I'm wrong, of having the, what you call them, rounded curbs? Is that you can drive up on them to park in the parking strip if
Yeah.
need be, if you use that for parking, right?
Yeah.
It's part of the deal,
Yeah, so
yeah.
Darland's gonna be kind of interesting because as we head out towards Railroad. It'd be better to do some standard curb through there too.
Okay,
So the kind of thing we're at, but more in the residential area, especially if you have on-street parking. The round curb does a better job because if you don't have the round curb cut. Pedestrian walkway and the street isn't as pronounced. So there's definitely some benefits for the round curb.
Yeah. Just my concern. We've had dealt with it a couple times in a couple different projects and a couple of them, they really didn't need them. And that's what they did. And it was more money. So that's just my concern.
Yes, Danielle.
Just a quick question. So I was a little confused trying to go through the numbers as far as with the Darland, with the railroad to the Mill Street, it says that the amount that the city will pay is $107,000-ish. Yet on the contract, it says 199 and some change. So where is the difference there?
the 199 is their consultant fee, the 107 is what the difference is for the TIB grant. We have to pay a percentage.
Okay, so that's what I thought, but the TIB grant doesn't match the 107 either. It says 5% of the grant, and the grant itself was for $1 million. So just doing,
There's two. Are you doing the Darlin one, or are you doing the chip seal?
I
one?
think I did the Darland one,
Okay.
because I was trying to do both of them and the numbers just didn't seem right, but
The TID grant, even 10%, you get some extra bonus points when you're applying for that grant, you do 10%.
okay. I thought
I
it
think
said
the chip
5.
seal was just the lower 5%.
Okay, I might have,
I think they're both pretty close to the same dollar amount.
Mhm. yeah.
That's those figures that paper you're looking at, that came from TIB. That's what they
Right.
sent us as what our match is.
Okay. So if our match is different then do. I don't know how to word it. Never mind. If I can figure it out afterwards, I'll just ask.
Yeah, come on in and we'll.
It just didn't seem like the numbers, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot off, it just seemed like it wasn't all adding right, and I can't find it right now, and I apologize for that. Are you doing it?
Well, I'm just doing something.
Yes, Steve.
I'd like to follow up Andy's comment about the curves. And we have found that that roll curve costs quite a bit more. Is there a possibility they can use both?
It's definitely something we can look into because we haven't designed anything yet for the project, so that's definitely something we can look at.
Because I've noticed in some areas where they have used the roll curve, I agree. It's a residential area. it does make access, especially if they have access to like the parking strip. But there are other areas they use it that it doesn't work well.
Right.
Or your standard curve would be more applicable.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so like I said, see, Darwin's kind of interesting, will be probably, it'd be good to have a mixture, because once you pass with Washington, it'd probably make more sense to have standard curves out that way, right? There's really not any street parking, and that all goes away.
right,
So definitely something we can look at in the design,
okay,
for sure.
good, thank you.
Thanks, David. Well, did anybody else have any questions or comments? On the consultant agreement for the Darling Street reconstruction?
Is there a normal like percentage of like for the project of like what you guys charge, or is that charge is kind of all over the board of where it could be? I just noticed on this project, it's like, it's over 20% of the whole project, so I just want clarification on that.
Yeah, so this contract covers both the design phase and the construction management phase of the project. And typically what you'll see for standard is 15% for design and 15% for construction. And so that's why that's why it's
Okay,
20. So I think 30% is kind of your standard best practice engineering fee. If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
15.
So we're getting a deal?
I guess, yeah. So.
Does anybody else have any questions on this first item on council business?
One more.
Yes, Steve.
Do we have a start time? Do we have a timeline?
Typically, we try to get these TIB reconstructions out March, April for bid in the March, April timeframe. And then they start, early summer, late spring to construction. So
Okay,
So we still have to go out for bid and have a bid opening and all of that to find a contractor.
right.
Yeah, we haven't done any of that stuff yet or designed it. So
Well, what?
this is just accepting it.
We gotta get the project first.
Correct.
All right, thank you. I move to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Pioneer Surveying and Engineering for design and construction phase engineering in an amount not to exceed $199,440.
Second.
Okay, well, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to number 2 on council business. And that'll be the consultant agreement for the 2025 chip seal project. Under H2.
I move to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Pioneer Surveying and Engineering for design and construction phase engineering in an amount not to exceed $109,830.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes, Steve.
This is, okay, this is $109,000 for the engineering. Does that come out of the $1 million number we've got for that chip seal project?
I'll have to look and see what the contract says, because there's some of them that you can include design and construction. So, and I believe on most TIBs, you can include design. Do you know offhand?
I don't.
Yeah, because I know some of them we have included the design as well as the construction for approval. So each contract is different, but I'll have to go back and look and see what that one is. And I can let you know.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it did come out of that. It's a nice chunk. It's 10% for sure. And also, the grant is for X amount of dollars. And it just says chip seal. Will we have to put out bids for a contractor to do this?
Yes. It's not something we can do.
Yeah,
For
that's a
public works.
requirement. To put it out for bid.
And I think that's in the surveyor, the Pioneer Surveyor part of this pamphlet. If I recall correctly, it says that they'll go out for bid and they actually, on the itemized area, it says how much it costs per person to get the bids out and just not specifically for the chip seal.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Any additional discussion? There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to resolution. Resolution number 740, the TIB grant agreement for Garland Street.
I move to approve resolution number 740, authorizing the mayor to enter into a transportation improvement board grant agreement for streets, sidewalks, and stormwater reconstruction on Darling Street.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the next resolution. Resolution number 741 is the TIB grant agreement for the 2025 chip seal project.
I move to approve resolution number 741, authorizing the mayor to enter into a transportation improvement board grant agreement to chip seal a large number of roads throughout the city of Goldendale.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, great. We'll move on to the next item, report of officers. And let's start over here on this side with Steve Johnston.
I'm just really glad everybody wore their sweaters. Very nice. No, I just would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a very lucrative new year to everybody here, the staff, everybody that works for the city and the entire city and the entire world. That's all I got.
Thank you, Steve. Ellie.
About the same as Steve. Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope it's safe and warm.
Thank you, Ellie. Andy.
One of my big things I want to mention is I don't know exactly who to thank or who to applaud, but the Christmas parade on Saturday night was one of the best Christmas parades I think Goldendale's ever seen.
Yeah.
I think more people put the vehicles, they put more lights on, they were just more, it was exciting to see everything go on. So yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. That's it.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Andy more on that. I want to thank the fire department for two things. One, for the great job on putting the fires out. You've had a lot of calls lately and it's appreciated, especially how quickly at that time of night. It's just incredible. Kudos to you for that. Same with the fire department and Rural 7 with the canned food drive. That was great yesterday, hearing the sirens all day. It was really neat. Also like to thank people for the parade, everyone that was involved in that, and the bazaar was fantastic once again. So if you didn't get a chance to do that, try to hit that next year, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Danny. Myland.
Yeah, well, I just, same thing, wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I was under the weather. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the parade, but then just reading on Facebook on a lot of nice compliments, and I'm sorry I missed it. In fact, they probably have it on video, don't they?
They have a lot of it on video.
Yeah, I'll try to check that out. Anyway, that's what I have, Mayor.
Thanks, Mylan. Okay, well, thanks, everybody. I just wanted to remind everybody on the Public Works Committee about that Public Works Committee meeting tomorrow at 2:30. And then we have an Events Committee meeting on Wednesday at 5:30. And that will be to go over those applications and prepare recommendations for the council on that. And yeah, I just wanted to, the people that organize the Christmas parade and all the activities at the lodge over there, man, what a great job. It takes a lot of work to organize parades and events like that, we know. And those folks from the Brighter Goldendale Christmas Committee, They just did a great job and, just really appreciated it. So, that was all I had. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda then. Open public comment. Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment?
Roger.
Roger, yes.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you all for wonderful cooperation throughout the year and being able to report on you guys. And for the new year, I want to offer you an old Spanish toast that goes this way. With my cardamom tea, love, health, money, and time enough to enjoy them to all of you.
Thank
you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Anybody else that would like to make a public comment? Whether-
Has her hand raised.
Nancy, yes, Nancy?
That's your name.
Oh.
Oh, that's your hand. Nothing from Nancy. Anybody else on there have their hand up? No?
Ken McCune, Goldendale.
Oh,
Is that
Can you hear me?
somebody?
yep, I can hear you.
Ken McCune, Goldendale.
Yes,
Yes, I need
Ken.
to ask you guys if you're keeping tabs of the Cypress Creek Renewable Carragher Solar Project being discussed tomorrow at the County Commissioners meeting. Anybody keeping track of that?
I am.
Yes, I am also.
Yeah,
follow
that's
along
going to
the
be a
news.
huge change to our hometown here. And the amount of participation by the public hasn't probably been all that much, in that around here they just let things go with that, and then after it's put in, it's too late to have your word spoken. Do any of you have plans on being at the meeting tomorrow?
I'm
Making
gonna
a
try
statement?
to,
Or
I'm trying to be there. I have to move some things around, but it is on my calendar, so if I can make it, I will be there.
well, I don't know how each of you feel about it individually. I'm not going to disclose how I feel about it. I'm just going to let it happen, more or less. I'm not going to. I may go to the meeting tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how many citizens have a comment on it, because we are going to be affected by it tremendously, I think. For one thing, if they put it in, we're talking probably thousands of acres of them. And they're going to be in very, very obvious areas to where we're just used to it being agricultural land, Well, after they put these solar farms in, we're all of a sudden living in a industrial type place, with lots of wires. All these wires are going to be have to go somewhere. I don't know if they're going to put them underground, leave them up above the ground to hook up to the substation out there on Knight Road. So it sure be interesting to know what the city's position is on it. At least our citizens would know where you guys stand. Okay, well, guess that's all I got. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry
Thank you,
Christmas.
Ken. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else on there for public comment? Anybody in the room for public comment? Hearing no more, I'll entertain a motion of adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second for adjournment. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I know you will.
Just